Welcome to Flame, the kitchen where we ignite love, peace, harmony, good wishes to all. Heat is always something that transforms. So we come with warmth, we come with generosity, we come with good spirit. Warmth from the heart, where it all happens. So just to share a point of vegetarianism with you, I did once share that our teeth are actually not designed for carnivore. We don't have the teeth of carnivores, but when we start to consider other aspects of our body, the next point of contact is the stomach, and that doesn't produce the same gastric juices as a meat eater. The gastric juices of meat eaters are extremely strong and can break down the meat quickly and easily, whereas ours don't. So, this is an indication actually that we are not carnivores. And so today we're going to do a lovely winter soup, and that is a tomato soup with semolina and coriander. The semolina thickens it a little bit. You can use parsley instead of coriander, but I've got coriander because I'm using some Indian spices to go with that. And yes, please note my chapeau, my wonderful hat, a gift from a friend, my dear, dear, dear darling friend, Wichi, whose son is one of the main players in You Cook in South Africa. So please all do have a look at You Cook, because he's doing a grand job there. And I'm sure that for those who are locked down and not able to get around that easily, although levels are being dropped now, but yeah, just do know that You Cook is there as a facility for you to use and enable you to cook well with good ingredients. And I think you do have a vegetarian option there. So let's show you the ingredients that we're going to be using for today. So I have here about 6 to 7 grated tomatoes. I have also some chopped tomatoes, skin removed of course, some celery. I'm going to use about 1/4 cup of celery, the chopped coriander, a tablespoon of brown sugar. I've got my cumin and coriander, black pepper, paprika, some lovely chili flakes and some asafoetida. And so I am now going to take that to the stove and show you how to make this very, very nice tomato soup inspired by ottolenghi. Okay, so I'm going to add a tablespoon or 2 of olive oil to my pan, get that going. So I'm going to add like 1/4 teaspoon of asafoetida. And I have here some cumin. Add a nice teaspoon or 2 of cumin. I very much like the flavor of cumin. This is coriander. I'm going to add a similar amount of coriander and 1/4. You can increase the amount of chili as you like it, and of course chili is optional, so you can add at least 1/4 teaspoon of chili flakes if you are somebody who likes chili flakes. So although I'm using Indian spices, I'm using them really in a little bit more of a Middle Eastern way. And I'm going to add also a 1/2 teaspoon of paprika, which is not only going to give flavor, but it's also going to give a little bit of color to the soup. Okay, so now I can smell the lovely aroma of the spices, and I'm going to add about 1/4 cup of chopped celery. I like to use the inside stalks and leaves for a soup like this, because you need them to be quite tender and soft. Just stir those around in the spices. And then you can add your, in here I also have a tablespoon of tomato paste. So I'm going to add that to the pan. And I'm going to add a litre of vegetable stock. And bring that to the boil. I like to add salt at this stage because I think it really does sort of blend in. So I'm going to add about 1.5 teaspoons of salt, and of course my tablespoon of brown sugar. Just bring that to the boil, and then I'm going to allow that to simmer for about half an hour until the tomatoes cooked well and the flavors are absorbed. Now, because I've got the celery in here, it's already got a little bit of chunkiness. And so what I'm going to add today, and this is also optional, are a few pieces of skinned chopped tomato, and that's just going to give it a little bit of a more texture and perhaps make it a bit more interesting. So there I'm going to also retain a little bit of that for garnish. And allow that soup to cook. Once it comes to the boil, I'm going to turn it down to a simmer and allow it to boil gently for about half an hour. I'm now going to add the semolina. The soup is really nicely cooked, and so just by degrees and stirring at the same time, because you don't want the semolina to form lumps. So stir whilst you add the semolina. It is boiling, so it's going to thicken quite quickly. So there are a variety of ways you could finish off the soup. I would have liked to have had some avocado, but I'm going to just add a little bit of chopped tomato and a dollop of yogurt, a little bit of coriander, and a slice of lemon. And so that is one way for you to serve the soup. That little bit of lemon really is a nice touch. So you could, for example, just squeeze a little bit of lemon juice into the soup, add a few of these delicious little grilled tomatoes that were from the garden, just a little bit charred intentionally, just to give it a different sort of flavor and look. Add a little bit of coriander, and if you like, you could also add a little bit of chili oil. And you could even have a third option. How about a little bit of yogurt in this one? A few little chopped tomatoes, halved and grilled tomatoes, and a nice slice of lemon, and a few grindings of black pepper for each one, and again a little bit of coriander. You can cook the coriander in the soup. Now, it's interestingly, those people who don't like coriander can actually manage coriander if it's cooked. So it also does give the soup a nice flavor. So don't hesitate to cook the soup with a little bit of coriander or parsley as well. Different and interesting ways to serve your soup.